Dr. Kemi for Kemi Talks Media. As most of you know, I'm reviewing Babangida's book, okay, Our Journey of Service. Well, some of these stories in this book pertain to me personally, and some of them are stories you need to know because you're a Nigerian. A lot has happened. History was removed from schools. A lot of young people don't know the history of Nigeria. They're hearing shocking stories and things. And the mainstream media won't tell you because the same people own the mainstream media, okay? So I'm here because journalism is a rough draft of history. I practiced between February 9th, 1994 to February 9th, 2025. That's 3 decades, 31 years. So this part is very interesting because I searched for it all night. Even before I finished reading the book, I wanted to really know what he said about the 1983 coup. And I'll tell you some shocking things shortly. So in that paragraph, Buhari, and his deputy, Tunde Idiagmo, had separated themselves from the mainstream of the armed forces by personalizing what was initially a collective leadership. They both posited a holier-than-thou attitude, antagonizing the civil populace against the military. This is what IBB said. He basically said Buhari and Idiagmo were antagonizing the public against the military. Why would they do that? They were military generals as well, and they were the leaders of Nigeria. Now he wrote, on that date, it became my lot to step into the saddle of national leadership on behalf of the Nigerian armed forces. See, on behalf of the armed forces, you stepped into the leadership, or should it be on behalf of the people? The people that you said they were antagonizing. The change in leadership had become necessary as a response to the worsening mood of the nation and growing concern about our future as a people. Although the previous day, we flew into Minna and drove through Lagos towards Bonny Camp, I was deeply reflecting on how we as a nation got to this point and how and why I found myself at this juncture of fate. Okay, I'm going to end there. Let me just tell you a nice little story about all what he said. He figured something out that we the people were not happy, and we were very much antagonized towards his, the government. And he stepped out as a member on behalf of the armed forces, not on behalf of the people. This is the whole concept of Emi Locon. He just stepped out and said, okay, that's it, I'm next. Did you guys know that it was actually Babangida that installed Idiagmo and Buhari as the leaders of Nigeria? Yeah, he was the one. In 1983, my father ran for governor, and October 1st, Independence Day, is the day that they swear in people. During that inauguration, I was the only child in the family that was not present because I had to go to school in America for pharmacy school in August. So I didn't come home for the inauguration in October. I did come home for December holidays. Now listen very carefully. At the time, I came home for Christmas holidays, okay? The government house was being cleaned in Ibadan because of the dirt and all the rituals and everything found in there when Bolage and the UPN moved out. Yeah, Bolage and the UPN people left all kinds of charms and things in there. We found 4 dead bodies. 4 dead bodies. Some of them were actually buried in the ground with cows and all kinds of rituals. Anyway, we weren't going to live there, so my dad told them to clean it out. Whenever the cleaning is done, we'll move in. But my dad had to go to Secretariat to the office of the governor. And while we were home for the holidays, like the convoy will drive us to Government House for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Now, let me tell you how it works. I mean, this was really stupid. Like, they would drive us from Malete in a long convoy. The governor's children will go to Government House. We'll have breakfast on a long conference table. We had fun. Sometimes we'll take our friends and we'll just hang out in Government House on the grounds. There was no internet, so there was no phone or anything. What did we do? We had Walkmans then. The Sony thing that you put, like iPods, you put in your headphones and you listen to music and you chatted like a normal life kind of thing. There was no internet whatsoever. And then you had a radio, a transistor radio, playing music from one station. That's what we did in those days. By 12 noon, lunch will be ready. They'll serve us lunch. All of us will eat lunch again. And then the driver and the police and the bodyguards, everybody will drive us right back to Molete. That's how it was. We were doing that every day. Some days I woke up, I just didn't want to go to that government house. I was just tired. It was so monotonous. Until on the 30th, I think it was the 30th or the 29th, please don't get me wrong, of December, after Christmas. Babangida showed up at our house in Molete. He told my dad to call all the children and gather us into the parlor. And we sat in the parlor, all of us. And he was talking to all of us. IBB told my dad, what I'm saying now, I've said it before, but no one believed me. Okay, I'm sure my dad is watching this video in Malaysia. I haven't seen my dad for 6 years, but let me tell you, because while we're writing books and we're learning about the history of Nigeria, IBB actually told my dad, because there's a lot of things missing in that book, that he should send all of us back to school. Okay, my sisters came from the UK, I came from America. Everybody was to leave the country because he's going to close the borders. Yeah, that's what he told my dad. He said he was going to close the borders because there's going to be a change of leadership. Can you imagine? This is what he looked at our eyes and he was telling all of us, so young people, I want you to go back to school in your various countries. Because once I closed the border, nobody would be able to enter or come in. You know, I didn't want you to miss school. I was shocked. I mean, that's what happened. I was 19 years old. I was at the Philadelphia College of Pharmacy. We packed up. What really hurt me the most there was that he said the key word. There's going to be a change of leadership. So I looked at Babangida's face and I said, does that mean Daddy's not going to be governor anymore? I mean, like, looked at him in the eyes, and he looked at me and said, yeah. He was about to take over, you know, Shagari's administration and install Buhari and Idiagmo. Yeah. So we left. The next day, there was the coup, and Buhari and Idiagmo became the leaders. He made them the leaders, please. Guys, you need to know how these coups are done. It was bloodless. Nobody died. He made them the leaders. So when they couldn't do well anymore, he said the state of the nation had gone really bad. That's why he took over. On behalf of the armed forces, he did not say on behalf of the Nigerian people. Let me tell you what the state of the nation that he was talking about. First of all, 2 billion naira was missing from the oil reserves under Buhari as military. Till today, we don't know what happened to that money. He claimed that's one of the reasons that he fired Buhari. 2 billion was missing from the oil, you know, reserves. At that time, 2 billion naira was $2 billion. The dollar was 0.5, and by the time Buhari was leaving, it was 1. That did not make Babangida happy. We were 0.5 to the dollar, 0.5 to the pound, and then it became 1 to 1 equal. He was not happy at the 1 to 1. So Babangida was like, fired Buhari. A lot of graduates could not get jobs. I have the screenshot of the newspaper. Okay, we used to read Daily Times, Sunday Times, Daily Sketch, Sunday Sketch. I have the screenshot. I keep journals. That's why I'm in journalism. I'm the best. Damn good journalist. I'll give you that screenshot at the end of this video. People couldn't get jobs. Graduates were out of jobs. Buhari didn't know how to create jobs. It was a mess. So he said he was taking over. And the dollar became 1 to 1. What's the dollar today? 1,500. Where have we gone in this country? Buhari began to proceed to say he was starting a new government, blah, blah, blah. He now said, by the beginning of 1985, when he took over, the citizenry had become apprehensive about the future of our country. The atmosphere was precarious and fraught with ominous, clear, and present danger. Babangida said the country was in danger because the citizens were pissed off. That year, I remember a lot of people couldn't get jobs. They came out of universities. We didn't see anything like that. Today is a normal thing. ASU strikes and everything. You come out of NYSC, no job, nothing. He wrote all this stuff. It's just so long. But at the end of the day, I knew that there was going to be a coup. He told us, and he told us to go back to school, and he took over the government and put his boys there. So when his boys didn't do well, he took over and began his administration for 8 years. It's a Milokon. That's all it is in Nigeria. I hope you enjoyed this. I'll have more as I see it.